Welcome to Discussing Dad Life, where we break down bullshit so you don't have to. I'm Void. This is No, and let's go.
We're on. Kick it off there, Boudreaux.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about the medical camps that they're trying to develop or build, or they already have in New York. I just came across it, and so I don't know too much about it. This is all
So we're going to pull up an article and kind of read it. And the article's from Forbes.
Yep, this is the first one we found that looked substantially enough credit, I guess.
Yep. So go ahead and switch this over to the screen. Thank you, sir. So it's a viral video falsely claims New York setting up quarantine camps for COVID-19. So go ahead and read us through there, buddy.
This article says, scroll down a little more, please. It says, have you seen videos claiming New York is setting up quarantine camps to forcibly detain people who may have COVID-19? It's an incredibly popular topic right now across several social media platforms like TikTok and Facebook, but it's simply not true. Hang on. How many times have these people said one thing and it's actually true?
Well, so the headline was falsely claimed, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So anytime that I read mainstream media this day, if they say something is a definitive one way or another, I typically go to the opposite, and that's probably more likely true.
Yeah.
And then I do my own research.
And everybody should always do their own research. The more informed you are, the more dangerous you are to the establishment. Because that's what I originally saw. I saw, just like the article says, on TikTok, I saw people, but it was live video feeds of things going on. So it's like, how are these people lying? Are they just mislabeling it according to these guys, or you know what I mean? What's going on?
Right?
Yeah, it could be. I'm not saying it.
I'm not saying with a definitive certainty that this is one way or another. I'm just saying that when it comes to mainstream media, if I typically go with the opposite because that's more than likely the truth.
Yeah, normally. So obviously take this with a grain of salt and do your own research. The claim that New York wants to... Can you scroll up a little, please? The claim that New York wants to set up quarantine camps is actually an old one that dates to the earliest days of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. But the claim has seen new life this year, with rumors starting in March 2023 that New York Governor Kathy Hochul, I was going to say Hochul, was prepared to imprison you if you were just suspected of being exposed to a disease. Fast forward to
hold on. Pause there. Because Kathy Hochul is an authoritarian, and I wouldn't actually, again, going back to what I said before,
you wouldn't put it past her?
I would not. Just knowing what she has done with gun bans and things like that and what she's done to the residents in New York, I could actually totally see her throwing people who are suspected of even having a disease in a concentration camp. I could fully 100% see that. Does that mean it's happening? No. But I could totally see it happening.
Yeah. Because, the ones I saw part of the court proceedings, a little short or something like that, and it was this attorney. She was going ham against arguing to the judges about this thing. So it seems pretty legit that they're trying to, but like I said, we don't know for a fact.
Yep.
Fast forward to this week, and videos started spreading on TikTok and Twitter, racking up millions of views with incredibly dubious claims. I don't know, man. Something's fishy. Something's shady. What is going... Can you scroll down to that Twitter post or X post? What is going on in New York? Camps? Really? ? I can't believe we're still dealing with this. Please watch and share. We're not gonna watch it, but...
Are you sure?
I mean, if you want to watch it, we can.
Is it going to bring us over to X if we do it?
Okay, nope. I am a Christian. I believe in God. I love God. Cannot believe I'm crying on TikTok right now. But have you guys seen about the hearings that they're having in New York? They had today about the quarantine camps. If you don't know what I'm talking about, they had a hearing today in New York City about quarantine camps, basically, where they can come into your home completely unprovoked. They can force themselves into your home, and if they want to, they can take your children and they can put them in a quarantine camp. Hold on, I have to calm down. Okay, and they don't have to have a reason. They don't have to have logic. They don't have to have any proof that you've come into any contact with anyone. It can be you, your mom, your sister, your brother, your
And
husband,
see, the thing
your
that
children,
I saw with the
and
sports, they were talking about that.
oh
literally,
wow,
that
my
lady just
heart
said.
is really overwhelmed right now with this. I would be fine. I would be fine if they came and they took me away. I would be fine. I'm not worried about me one bit. I'm not even really all that worried about my husband, because he's a scary, scary dude. But I have
Good
3
man.
children, and the thought of someone coming into my home and taking one of my kids away from me, I can't, y'all. I can't. Like, I try so hard to have faith, and I pray every single day for protection over my children. But, like, when are we going to get to the point where we're really going to do something about this? Because
Got a point.
we're just sitting back, and we're always talking about doing something.
So it is interesting that she is putting on this X video, or the, uploading a video to X or Twitter, formerly Twitter, whatever.
Yeah.
Talking about this, saying that it is happening.
Yeah.
And then the news article is falsely claims.
Yeah.
So hold on. So is she lying just to get attention, or are you lying to cover up the fact that you guys are you are part of the Democratic Party that is authoritarian and wants to do this? This is reminiscent of the quarantine camps that they did in Australia.
Yep.
So in Australia, back when the height of COVID was going on, they actually set up concentration camps for Australian citizens. If you were infected, they would send you to this concentration camp. And were not able to leave, to the point where there were people escaping via the ocean,
That's
whatnot.
insane.
And the government was actually going and hunting them down and putting them back in these camps. So
Yeah, that's not wrong.
you
at
would
all.
like to think that America
would be better.
would be better. Unfortunately, New York is run by
Democrat.
far left Democrats who don't care about your freedoms. They only care about their authoritarian, what they can do
want
to
control.
expand their power.
Yep.
So, like I said, just based on the simple facts and the history and what these people do, I would tend to believe this
She's
lady over the news.
Yeah, dude, you can't trust any of the news outlets. I mean, and it's insane. Like, you used to be able to trust what you were being told, and now today, you can't even trust your kid to go walking down the street. You know what I mean? Like,
so it brings up an interesting question. Could you, in the past, could you trust the news?
well, I don't know anymore. You
Right,
know?
because the only source of information you had was from the news.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you could actually trust them, because 1950s, you could not do your own research. The only news was the newspaper and what was coming on the radio and TV and everything.
public
And if they're
television.
all saying the same thing, marching in lockstep together, it has been the rise of social media that has made news sources, the CNN, the most trusted news source. I mean, you guys aren't the most trusted news source.
No.
I would rather listen to an independent reporter on X than I would listen and read. You guys, I read it and I literally laugh because I have to go and verify that you're even telling me the
Right.
truth, or that you're framing it in a way. Because framing is a very, very important part of news sources, right?
Yeah.
Is how they're going to frame
Portray
the
it.
information that they're going to put out to you. So, what was the stupid fiery but mostly peaceful? Right.
Yeah.
I always got to go back to that because it's
accurate.
It's the perfect example of what the framing I'm talking about. Fiery but mostly peaceful. How can you have a riot that is burning buildings down be mostly peaceful? Are you trying to say that there were peaceful people there? Sure, that happens in every riot. There's always protesters that are going to be super peaceful. G6 is no exception.
No.
But fiery but mostly peaceful is trying to imply that the fires are not that bad.
Yeah, and literally billions of dollars in businesses were demolished.
How many deaths occurred over the Summer of Love?
So many.
Yeah. Well, I think the one comment that we
Said
got was
30.
like 30. Don't disagree with that. I mean,
Yeah, there was probably way more than they were reporting on the news.
yeah. Oh, I don't even think they reported on the deaths.
I don't remember hearing anything. I'm
the-
thinking about it right now.
The dude that got gunned down.
Which one?
David something. I can't remember his name now. Dang it.
I don't remember.
It was like in the Midwest, southern Midwest. Like
Was that the guy that was just parked in his car or something like that?
No, that was the Provo one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is the one that was actually, he was a retired like sheriff or something like that, and he went to his
don't
buddy's
remember that
gun
one.
shop in order to provide protection. They broke in and gunned him down in order just to steal firearms.
See, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it was huge. News never covered it.
They don't cover a lot of things, man. They
Mainstream news.
Yeah.
But
mainstream news.
your independent reporters that do the stuff on X, that do the stuff on TikTok, that do it on Facebook, that put
Exercise
out,
that First Amendment.
they do a much better job of encapsulating what is actually going on in America than any of these news sources.
Yep.
That's including right-wing news sources. Fox
Oh, yeah,
News
yeah,
is
yeah,
right-wing.
we're not excluding them.
They're horrible too. Daily Wire, I tend to like Daily Wire because they portray everything a little bit more fairly, I think.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that I trust everything Daily Wire has,
No.
because they have a certain agenda. They are going to frame things the way they want to
Facts.
frame things. So, with that being said, you can utilize these news sources, guys.
Yeah,
But
you can.
do not put all your faith in them.
No.
That is why the cult, this left, has continued to believe the Trump Russia narrative. That's why they believe that Biden is not corrupt, right? They're only looking at the headlines from these left wing
News media
sources that don't give the full detail.
Nope.
So
They like to leave little itty bitty details out so you believe
yeah,
that Trump's corrupt and everybody's just the way they say, but it's not in all actuality that way.
Yeah.
Do your own research. I don't know how much I can encourage that.
I do want to give a
Flawless victory.
to this lady who put this video out. I mean, that's encouraging that she's even speaking out and putting it out in a public fashion,
I mean-
especially living in a fascist state like New York, because they're gonna come at you with the full power of
Oh,
the
yeah,
law,
they find
probably
out-
to throw you in prison. They will strip you of your kids. Oh, you want to talk back? You want to question what we're doing? Yeah, guess what? You're gonna
Your
lose all
social
your
credit
kids.
score.
Yep, down ESG. It's bull crap.
Dude.
So I mean, it's dumb. It is absolutely dumb. Go ahead and let's continue on with this article.
I think that's all they have.
Let's see.
Oh, wait, no, we go. The unnamed woman in the video explains that the city of New York had a hearing about quarantine camps, basically where they can come into your home completely unprovoked and take your children. The woman is seen crying in the video and saying that while she's not concerned about herself, she's scared for her 3 kids. Yeah, we saw that.
Okay, scroll down a little more.
In reality, there is a kernel of truth in this viral
Pause. Pause. They just said it right there. There is a kernel of truth.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't the article say it was false claims?
That's right.
So hold on. Which one is it,
So,
guys?
yeah, which one? That's
Come
yeah,
on,
you-
Forbes. Which one is it? Is it false or is there some truth in there? You got to clarify here.
You guys need to be held accountable.
God dang. Okay.
Because there was an important court case happening in Rochester, New York on Wednesday, but not like the woman in the video suggests. So it's like this, but not really.
Hold on. So I'm going to say it's false. I'm going to say, oh, wait, hold on. Later on, I'm going to bury that there is some truth to it. Oh, that light just died.
Uh-oh.
Interesting. And now you're going to say that there was a hearing, but it's not like she claimed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hold on. You've already lied to me. Why would I not believe her now?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's exactly how you're saying it. The hearing was an appeal of legal case brought by Republican politicians in New York about public health orders. The case is entirely an academic exercise at this point because nobody is forcing anyone into COVID-19 quarantine camps.
oh, hold on.
But wait a
on.
second.
Hold the hell on.
Run it.
Okay,
Run
so
it.
if there is a court challenge, it's not purely academic. That means that there is a law out there that can do this.
Yeah, there's a legal standing.
Whether or not they're actually enforcing that law or doing whatever they're doing does not mean that it's purely academic. That means that they still have the power to do this.
Exactly.
So props on the Republican representatives, whoever is actually challenging this stuff, because... Yeah, so I mean, they basically destroyed their entire case. This is actually true.
Yeah.
The article actually shows that it's true. Wow. Usually it's not that. Usually you have to dig a little bit more out and use outside sources, but they're actually admitting it's true.
I don't think they think anybody actually reads this stuff. So
That's interesting.
what else does it say? New York State politicians brought a lawsuit under the group name Uniting New NYS, arguing that state law gives the government too much power under health emergency orders. Health emergency orders. Isn't there something like that going on in New Mexico that we're going to talk about?
Yep. In
Okay,
just a
all
minute,
right.
we're going to talk about that.
All right, right there. Oh,
little more, Dave.
Little more. Sorry, guys. Emergency orders to force people into quarantine. The group won their lawsuit back in July at the New York Supreme Court, but the state has appealed the decision, and oral arguments for that appeal were Wednesday. The arguments were available in their entirety on YouTube.
Okay.
So they only published it on YouTube?
Yeah. So that'd be awesome. Go ahead and check it out. But it sounds like what she's saying
Is true.
Mm-hmm. And Forbes is just trying to play interference for the Democratic
That's exactly
Party.
what it sounds like.
It's interesting. I don't necessarily know if we, yeah.
Well, let's just finish this article real quick.
You want to?
Yeah.
Okay, scroll down some more.
As PolitiFact notes, every state
Scroll.
in the country has similar laws that allow the state to force people into quarantine, something that that's typically done in their own home. But the legal arguments being made this week are being taken out of context to argue that New York is in the cusp of building concentration camps for everyday Americans. That's not true, despite what you have heard on TikTok.
Okay, so there's some interesting flaws in this paragraph. Go back up.
Right there.
Right. So every state in the country has similar laws that allow the state to force people into quarantine. That is not 100% true.
I was going to say, I don't think that's true.
So there are, from my understanding, there are many states that are actually dealing still with the ramifications and the overreach of the executive branch and non-elected officials that actually were trying to do this. And if I'm not mistaken, there's also some that have already been showing that the power of the state to actually enforce this is not legal.
I was going to say, I thought there was all kinds of lawsuits from COVID about something like that.
Yeah, this is all stemming from COVID and the left's and actually surprisingly the right's overreach on the authoritarian nature of the government. The government cannot actually force you to do some of this stuff.
Something to look into, guys.
So, and the other thing is taken out of context to argue New York. Again, I'm going to go back to if you're trying to tell me what the context is, and your context already has been lying, I'm sorry, you're probably lying to me right here.
Yeah. All right.
So
if this thing goes through and you're on their list to be taken, they can come to your home. It could be in the middle of the night, 3 a.m., 6 a.m. They take you out to their car, no questions asked. Another TikToker user claimed, insisting that it could be little children taken away in the dead of night. New York's local 10 news station also ran a fact check about these claims back in July 2022, explaining there are no plans for quarantine or COVID camps. But haven't the fact checkers been proven?
Most fact checkers are wrong.
Exactly.
They're trash. Go back up, dude. Stop going too fast. So it's interesting that they're using. This is what they do. They like to cite other news sources that are already leaning in one direction or framing it in one direction to validate what they're saying, and it's a way to provide coverage. Yeah. Or like a smoke screen for them so they don't get held liable or anything like that.
Well, they said it.
Yeah, they said it. We're just reporting on what they said. Well, give us the freaking facts. There are no plans for quarantine or COVID camps. That's not what she's claiming right now. Not that there are plans. She's claiming that you can do this. Whether or not you're planning to do it is completely beside the point. Can you do it? Is there the option to do it is the issue. Not that there's a plan to actually do it.
Yeah.
So
they're framing it.
The framing on this is pretty good. Like, there's no plans to do it. Okay, I care less if you're planning to do it. Do you have the ability to do it? Well, yeah, I have the ability to do it. Oh, well, that's what I have the issue with. Not whether or not you're actually going to do it. The simple fact that you could do it is enough for me.
Yeah. Where are we at?
Scroll down a little bit, bud. In short, yes, there is a legal case that's been brought against the proper role of government in managing infectious disease outbreaks. But no, New York is not building quarantine camps for people. I didn't hear a claim that they were building quarantine camps, did they?
Yeah, I didn't hear that either. There was a legal challenge to it, right?
They've admitted that there's a legal challenge. She's saying that legally they could do this. She didn't say that they're building anything.
Exactly.
She didn't say that there are existing things. She's saying that there is a law that allows them to do this.
Yep.
Again, it's the framing.
We all lived through the worst of the pandemic, and COVID-19 as a disease never really went away. Sadly, people are still dying from the airborne illness, and it's certainly a tragedy. But the pendulum of fear and calculated risk swung widely back and forth over the past 3 years, and very few people are on board with forcibly detaining anyone, even in the face of mass death. To date, roughly 1.14 million Americans have died of COVID-19, according to the CDC. And hospitalizations. Hang on. Let me.
I gotta stop. I'm sorry. I gotta stop.
I know what you're about to say. Go for it.
Okay, so 1.14 million Americans have died from COVID-19, according to the CDC. But CDC has already been legally proven in the courts to have included people that have had the disease, COVID that didn't die from it.
Nope.
Specifically, I think it was a case out of Louisiana where a guy died in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah, and
it was
COVID.
related to be or it was reported to be a COVID death.
Yep.
Just because he was infected with COVID. It was not the cause of it.
That happened so many times during COVID, so that's wrong right there.
So again, they're misinterpreting what's actually going on. The CDC has already legally been proven to have fabricated the number of actual deaths.
Yep.
Does that mean that people didn't die from COVID? No. 100%. COVID was a very
A real thing.
it was a real thing that we went through. It was a pandemic.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we did not know enough about it. We made the best decisions we could, and then from there, unfortunately, the left took advantage of it to seize their authoritarian opportunity, became fascist state, and started definitely capsulating people. I feel badly for those that have lost their loved one due to COVID-19, but we are well past not understanding what this disease is anymore, or this virus is anymore.
We're definitely past that curve, you know what I mean?
And Forbes, you should be ashamed of yourself for printing a bold-faced lie like this.
Yeah, that's definitely a bold-faced lie. I knew you were going to say that, man. As hospitalizations are up 8.7% over the previous week, while deaths are up 4.5%, but there aren't quarantine camps. And New York has no plans to build them as far as the publicly available record can show.
It goes back to framing again.
Yep.
No one's making the claim. No one's making the claim that you have quarantine camps built, and no one's saying that you guys are building
authority.
They're talking about what is written on the books and what you guys can do. Stop trying to protect authoritarianist, fascist people like Governor Kathy Hochul.
I'm glad we went over this today.
Wow.
That's insane.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
The own article disproved their own headline.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is nuts.
And there's numerous other like you can just Google it, and there's other different perspectives, different people writing about the same topic. You guys can do, like I said, do your own research, form your own opinions, but it's out there.
Yeah,
and that's insane.
Nutty. Okay.
All right.
Well, now that we
got you going.
Holy crap! It pisses me off when people put false information out there. They're supposed to be the trusted news source. They're supposed to be the ones that provide and unify this country, make sure that everyone's aware of what's going on, and then you openly lie and deceive people into believing false things.
I think like when people report falsely, like they should be held accountable, not just like
the First Amendment. The First Amendment, as much as it pisses me off, I can't. There is extremely tall order in order to hold these people accountable because they have the right to do and say whatever they want. What really is going to hold them accountable is not any legal ramifications, not suing them, not civil actions, nothing. It is honestly people standing up and saying, you know what, you guys are a bunch of liars. I'm no longer going to read your newspaper. I'm no longer going to watch your show. Nothing.
Cancel those guys. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't even say cancel it. Because that's not canceling. That is free market in a free market exercise performing its duty. Your product is no longer good enough. It does not meet the quality to actually be out in the American public. American public doesn't want it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They cancel them.
Canceling is not. Canceling is different. Canceling is when you actually have a good product, people want to actually do it, but you disagree with it, so then you shut it down. If people want to agree with it, they can.
Okay, fair enough.
Right. That's the difference between canceling and then using the free market to exercise your raw consumer power. That's the difference.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
No, dude, you're good. Go for it, man.
I'm heated.
I can tell. It's good.
So
I didn't know it was going to get you this hot and heavy, man.
Well, I don't think this is probably one of the very few articles I have actually read where the entire article just disproved their tagline, the headline. Like, that's nuts. That is nuts. Go ahead and go to the next one, bud.
All right. I'll let you lead this one, man. Go for it.
So this is the topic I wanted to bring up, which is the Colorado.
I'm from there.
Go ahead and just hit the exit button. Yeah, that works.
This is from PBS.
So this is the efforts of Colorado to keep Trump off the ballot. So I haven't read this article per se, but we went ahead and we brought up the article. Basically, what I know of what's going on is Colorado Secretary of State is saying because Trump is an insurrectionist, which he's not. There's been no legal charge, no legal claim. Jack Smith has not brought any of this. He actually thought about charging him with insurrection under the Insurrection Act, actually chose not to do it. So there is no charge that he's an insurrectionist. It's just the left's talking point has always been January 9th was an insurrection.
6th.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. God.
Fact check.
Yeah, fact check. 6th, January 6th. Which, in the media, they always say it's an insurrection, right? The left believes it's an insurrection. Everyone else in America views it exactly for what it is. It was a riot that got out of hand and disrupted
that was proven that there were FBI agents or something in the crowd.
Oh, yeah, instigating it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
provoking.
Kathy Whitmer,
Yeah.
Michigan. Come to find out, all that news actually dropped on Friday, too. Sorry, we're not going to talk about it. But just to highlight on that, every single one of the people that were charged in the Whitmer kidnapping case were exonerated.
Yeah, I know. Because they were all
on
feds.
Friday. Because the feds went ahead and instigated that and were entrapping people.
Yep.
So, bravo, congratulations,
Crooked
FBI.
ass.
You guys are corrupt as they come.
You guys are
not
just
all of you.
losing face in the public.
Let me clarify. Not all of you guys are. But unfortunately, because you have such bad apples that are doing such bad things,
and you're letting them,
and you're not holding them accountable and actually making them stop, you guys are all getting a bad rap because of it. So if you guys want to fix that, start kicking out these people that are taking advantage of the American people.
Facts.
So go ahead, scroll down, bud. We're not going to watch this video.
No.
Let's just read it.
The article.
Complex legal theory will soon be tested after a group of Colorado voters asked courts to block former President Trump from the primary ballot. The claim argues Trump violated the 14th Amendment, which says anyone engaged in insurrection or rebellion is ineligible to hold office. So real quick, for those that don't know, the 14th Amendment was actually put in place after the Civil War ended in order to prevent the people that actually joined the Confederacy from holding public office again. Yep. Right.
I actually knew that.
So that's what the 14th Amendment was actually built and made for.
Yeah.
The second part about this is says anyone engaged in insurrection or rebellion. So one, you got to take it framed in the context it was written. It was actually referring to the Confederation. The second part about this is Trump has no charge of insurrection or rebellion actually levied against him. Yep. So this wouldn't even apply, even if it wasn't about the Civil War timeframe.
Yeah. And if they do take him off the ballot in Colorado, then that just shows even more the level of corruption and election interference. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Biden is guilty of election interference. Yep. Merrick Garland's
and they're still running around.
And then all these people that are trying to remove Trump from the ballot, I'm sorry to say, you guys are all interfering with an election, which is exactly what you're saying Trump did. And Trump never went to the level you guys are doing. So if Trump is guilty, if in your mind he is guilty, you guys are guilty times like 20.
Yeah. You ever think that they're doing this on purpose? Like the government's doing this on purpose to just show us the level of corruption and like, so that way when something does happen, like we're just already okay with it.
I think that's Democrats' plans, right? When we get to the New Mexico story, I was actually going to bring this up because I think that's the way they do things. They incrementally do it to make it normalized, right? Just like COVID. I think they went too far with COVID and the lockdowns that they did. COVID. They went too far, but they were trying to normalize it for the next time.
Yeah, which is coming soon, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, there's talks about it.
Oh, yeah, there's talks everywhere about going back to lockdown, dude.
Yeah. So go ahead, scroll down. So this is the full transcript, whatever. So the lawsuit filed in Colorado last week is by a DC-based ethics watchdog group. basically on behalf of Colorado voters. They're asking for a judge to say Trump is disqualified and he shouldn't be on the Colorado ballot, which is unfortunate, right? Because they're basically saying each state primary has the people that are on the ballots have to go through they have to meet a certain requirement, right? So they have to have certain signatures, or they have to raise a certain amount of money, or they have to have certain number of people, different people vote or not vote, donate to them. So there's a lot of things you have to do and meet the guidelines and actually vet through a lot of this stuff that they're asking him to do. Mm-hmm. So he's already met all these thresholds. Uh-huh. So now they're saying, oh, well, we want him off because of this. Mm-hmm. But they're basically subverting the will of the people in the state rather than letting a free and fair election. If there are people in Colorado that don't want Trump to do it, they're going to vote on their primary ballot for DeSantis or Ramaswamy or something like that, right? It's the people's choice that matters in this situation, not a judge.
Well said.
So,
and I don't know anybody. I take that back. I know a couple people who this last election voted Democrat, but everybody else I know voted Republican.
Yeah, more than likely. So basically, it looks like this is just a transcript of what's going down.
Yeah.
I just wanted to highlight it. You guys can go ahead and do your research, look at all the news sources you want. More or less, that's what's going on. I thought it was a Secretary of State. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I just read that on the side over there.
Yeah. So anyway, do your research, but just know that Colorado's kind of the spearhead point. I do believe the ACLJ is actually representing the Colorado Republican Party.
Oh, I didn't know that.
About keeping the primary ballot untouched. Like, a judge should not have the authority to disbar anyone because they have to go through the primary process in order to even get on the ballot.
Yeah.
Because let's say the judge rules and says, oh, he can't even be on it. They can't even write him in. If they write him in, they've effectively canceled your vote. You no longer can have the choice to vote for Donald Trump, but if you do it, they can't even count the vote.
That's true.
So they're basically saying, if you want Donald Trump, we know better than you. You cannot vote for him, and even if you do write him in, those votes will not be counted. He will not be.
That's so crooked, man.
It's very undemocratic. They're always talking about how our democracy, which we aren't a democracy, we're a republic, but how our democracy is under threat by Donald Trump. But the very actions you guys are doing is a direct threat to the American republic.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see what the vote, you know what I mean? I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll keep you guys posted on this.
And then let's go ahead and finish on the New Mexico governor.
Oh, yeah. We got an update.
Go ahead to the next tab there, bud.
In case y'all didn't know. New Mexico governor narrows ban on guns in public. Why? Because her last...
Scroll down.
Her last little attempt at gun ban did not work. It did not fly. The people said no.
No, they challenged it. The people said no, and then a court even said no.
Exactly.
What do you New
want?
Mexico is a trifecta blue. They have the House, Senate, and governor all blue. Yeah. So this is a safe state for them to test out the waters of just outright using public health emergencies in order to ban it.
Yeah, so, it's crazy that
it got challenged. Mm-hmm. Went to.
Didn't they seek? Wait, what?
Scroll down. Let's go ahead and read it and see if the article actually says which court it was. I can't remember.
Up a little.
Go up. Right there. The governor stated on a news conference by referencing several instances of violence since she put the order in place last Friday. Since I am declared an emergency, we have seen 296 shots fired in Albuquerque and Bernalillo County. Scroll down a little bit.
Grisham said.
Last night we saw violent crime move throughout the city that resulted in gun injury, 2 carjackings, and a kidnapping with suspects not yet in custody. Keep scrolling down. She hopes the modification... So hold on. She just went over and listed all of the stuff that happened while their gun ban was in effect.
Mm-hmm. That's the way I took it.
So she openly admitted that her gun ban did absolutely nothing to solve crime in Albuquerque. And
how did they lay it out? The first gun ban, it was medical.
No, it was a public health emergency.
Yeah, public health emergency. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, public health emergency where if there was X amount of deaths by guns in a populace, whatever, then you couldn't carry a concealed or an open gun. So, right. She hopes to modify the public health order will strengthen her. She hopes the modification to the public health order will strengthen her position. Earlier this week, a federal judge temporarily blocked the portion of her order that banned both open and concealed firearms in Albuquerque and Bernalillo County. So it was a federal judge, which
Good
is
for
awesome.
them.
Good job, federal judge. Don't know which one it was. The rule cited a direct conflict with the Second Amendment and will halt the implementation of that portion of the order pending a final hearing, which is scheduled for October 3rd. So basically exactly what we were talking about last week. She violated the Second Amendment. And
Shall not be infringed.
So she went ahead and amended her order in order to get around it, right? So the effectively the judge said, nope, you can't do this, which null and voided her her unconstitutional ban on guns. So she went ahead and basically made a new executive order, which they do constantly. I mean, New York was notorious for doing that. They decree a public health emergency and do this, lose in the courts, and then we're gonna do it again, but we're gonna do it for a different reason, and then they lose that one, and they just keep doing it over and over and over because the Democrats want to control your life.
Yes, they do.
So we've amended the public places component of the gun violence aspect of the public health order. She said this is amended to be focused now on no open or concealed carry in public parks and playgrounds where we know we've got high risk of kids and families. Okay, again, all she did was let's narrow the scope, but actually still violate our rights.
Yeah, that's exactly what she did.
Again, she is a horrible, horrible governor who is playing authoritarian. She thinks she knows better, and she has no business doing what she's doing. I guarantee she's going to lose this one, but let's go ahead and go down. If she lost the last one, she's going to lose this one.
I was going to say, I don't see how rewording it's going to... I mean, hopefully not.
No. It's not about rewording it in hopes that she's reveals. It's rewording it so she can still effectively do what she wants to do.
That's what I'm saying. I hope that just by her doing that doesn't change the outcome of this. You know what I mean?
It won't.
It better not.
All she did was change from all of these areas to this little area, but she didn't change any of the effects of what was cited as the reason why it was failed in the first place, which is you cannot infringe on people's right to carry and bear arms.
We understand that, but
I'm assuming the federal judge who put that
that's what I'm hoping
is
smarter than that.
I would assume that this judge actually recognizes.
I just know the Democrats get away with a lot of shit.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. So I hope they continue to fight the good fight and deny this.
So she also added a new position or provision for managed care organizations like HMOs or PPOs. Under the revised order, they are instructed to identify treatment for someone, either inpatient or outpatient, within 24 hours. Another new provision focused on assistance of the Metropolitan Detention Center and its contractors. It directs the New Mexico Department of Corrections, the Department of Homeland Security, and Emergency Management to help the county jail with staffing, space, and screening. At the news conference, she named Ben Barker to the governor's staff as a senior public safety advisor. Barker has been the deputy cabinet secretary and interim law enforcement academy director at the Department of Public Safety since 2021 and has worked in law enforcement since 1997. This is an opportunity for all New Mexico public safety professionals. Scroll down a little bit, but from all disciplines, police officers, prosecutors, probation and parole personnel, corrections, emergency services, and dispatchers to unite under the shared goal of making our state a safer place to live. I am grateful to the governor. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna pause here. I'm gonna. If you're listening, Miss Governor, Mrs. Governor, whatever.
I like it when you do stuff like this.
If you're listening, I'm gonna give you advice on how to make your safe state safer, and make your populace more healthy. Shut down the illegal immigration, the inflow of fentanyl across your border.
Yep.
Care about the little children drowning as they're crossing the Rio Grande River. Care about the mother with a 3-year-old walking through the desert in 110-degree weather, trying to make it to safety. Why don't you focus on doing that? Those are much more powerful things you can do than trying to strip rights away from American citizens.
And now you know.
Yeah, sorry.
No, man,
that was off topic. We're gonna end it there. I think that was my final message. Oh, actually, I got one final message. For all the people that were watching down in New Mexico, if you're in Roswell, New Mexico, go ahead, check out the Valley Cafe. I'm gonna shout that out. Friend, I used to live in Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh, okay. I was like, I have no idea where you're going with this.
Yeah, I have a buddy down there. He seems to be doing really well.
That's good.
I was watching, chatted with him a little bit last night. I just wanted to give his place a shout out. Go ahead and encourage you guys to check that out. Show some support to your local businesses.
Yeah, definitely.
Him and his family are great. His wife is amazing. They have beautiful kids. So go ahead and give them some support.
Well said.
Yes, sir.
See you guys later.
Peace. Thank you for watching. Please give us a like, share, and subscribe. Till then, peace.